In this video, I'm going to enumerate the known plot points of the Callisto protocol based on information I found from various sources, mixed in with a bit of informed speculation. The early idea of the game is called Meteor Down, the brainchild of Glen Schofield himself, the founder and CEO of Striking Distance Studios. In some of the interviews which he talked about this, he only mentions that the concept is about a meteor that crashes on Earth and started causing havoc. No other details are shared about it, maybe because a crucial portion of that idea was transferred over to the game in development. You see, there's two interesting facts about the surface of Callisto according to NASA. One is that its surface is filled with craters due to comets and asteroids that's been hitting it for over the course of billions of years. And two, underneath the surface could lie an ocean that gives the possibility of it being able to support life, which Glen himself mentioned on several occasions. So if we take the original concept of Meteor Down and correlate that with NASA's info on Callisto, I speculate that the virus in TCP is not a native of Jupiter's moon, but rather is a foreign planetary body that crashed on Callisto and was able to survive because of the subsurface ocean. However, there is one bit of crucial information shared by Glen during an interview with GameInformer, which reveals that in the Callisto protocol, there does exist a remnant of an ancient creature which carried the virus. So for a moment I thought maybe it was an ancient spacecraft that crashed, but then again, something like that would not be able to penetrate the surface of the moon too much. Only something really big can do that, like an asteroid. The real-life science behind it being able to carry life is still up for scientific inquiry. But then again, we are talking about a science fiction video game creator who has done something similar in the past, where he buried an important plot device within a big hunk of space rock. He is also on record of being fine with his new game being compared to Dead Space, as well as being open to the idea of taking inspiration from the game series that he himself worked on. As a comparison, the biggest impact crater on Earth is called the Vredefort crater that created a dent 100 kilometers wide and 40 kilometers deep. Callisto's biggest crater is called Valhalla, which is 4,000 kilometers wide and would have easily accessed the subsurface ocean. Regardless of how the origin of the virus turns out to be, what I can say with almost certainty is that this event happened much earlier than 2320, the year the game takes place, and will utilize the possibility that Callisto could harbor life beneath the surface. In TCP's official website, we can see the words, "Players must not only contend with the horrors of Black Iron Prison, but also the centuries-old secrets that plague Jupiter's long-dead moon," and to survive, Jacob must battle his way to safety to escape Black Iron Prison, while uncovering the dark and disturbing secrets buried beneath the surface of Callisto. In the same GameInformer interview I mentioned earlier, Glen also states that the remnants of the ancient creature was found by a bunch of scientists who experimented on it with the goal of making humanity better. And there's only one entity mentioned in the game's story that could possibly fund such research: the United Jupiter Company. They're the most likely suspect in my opinion, especially when we read this passage from the website. Uncover the secrets of the UJC. When a mysterious outbreak throws the moon into chaos, Jacob must face his darkest fears to defeat the bloodthirsty creatures that stalk him as he unravels the dark mysteries at the heart of the powerful UJC. As I was watching the gameplay trailers, I can't help but notice just how extensive the medical facilities are in the game, which leads me to theorize that the virus research is not an afterthought, but rather preceded the Black Iron Prison. I suspect that UJC scientists found the virus first, then realized that, hey, if we're going to experiment with this, we're going to need bodies. So the UJC board decides to build a maximum security prison on top of the science facility. Well, they'll get test subjects for free. So what exactly are we dealing with in the game? The broad term that the developers use to identify enemies are called the biophage. I looked it up online and there seems to be no such terminology in the world of medicine. Even the Oxford Medical Dictionary doesn't have anything on it. The closest one I found is something called a bacteriophage, or simply called phage. A simple explanation of what it is can be found on a video by the YouTube channel Kurzgesagt that states phages are viruses that kill certain bacteria by using it as a host to create more of itself. So by using a simple method of substitution, if we replace the word bacteria with bio, meaning organic life form, we can safely assume that the biophage is a virus that attacks people to create more of itself. If you've seen the game's Red Band cinematic trailer, which is totally understandable if you haven't, it's kind of gross, I believe we can actually see this in action. The infected prisoner grabs hold of the other non-infected one and produces a series of tentacles which it inserts through the ears, mouth, and eyes. I assume this is only one of the several ways that they make more of themselves. Another one is possibly through the bloodworm when it manages to latch on to its host. In some of the enemies, we can actually see where they attach themselves. Another one is probably through a suspended or cocoon-like state, as we've seen happen to some of the guards and prisoners. With that said, let's turn our attention to our main protagonist, Jacob Lee, played by Josh Duhamel. There's not much info on him, but from what I gathered, he is a cargo ship pilot who got boarded by another group and crash-landed on Callisto. Jacob is then retrieved from the wreckage by the head prison guard, voiced by Sam Witwer. If you've seen the official gameplay reveal trailer, that's him doing the voiceover.
I just love that last part. Gives me chills every time.
Also on the cast is Karen Fukuhara, but the only info about her character that I can find is in the image of the GameStop's exclusive collector's edition of the game, where she is the cover of the official comic book. It's hard to tell what character she'll be playing just based on that image, but in some of the articles I read, like this interview with Glen via GameSpot, it's highly probable that she will be introduced on upcoming trailers planned for release as the game's launch date gets closer. I would like to know, is this game going to be a day one buy for you? Is this kind of horror right up your alley? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.